Hi there, this is Dr. Samurai, a professor in Japan who's specializing in international social pathology. And the topic of today's My Minute lecture will be Mr. Perry Roark. So let's get into the detail. Mr. Perry Roark, I don't think many of you have heard of this name before. He is the founder of prison gang in Maryland called Deadman Incorporated, Deadman Inc. He is one of the founder of the prison gang. And interesting thing is, when he was around 20 years old, he, before his trial, knew his sentence would be like 20 years, including all those things that comes from the past. 20 years. That's a big piece of life, right? So he decided if he would spend that long in prison, he just wanted to enjoy that 20 years. To do that, he made a resolution to make up his own prison gang. So, although he is a white person, he negotiated with the black guerrilla family and became sort of apprentice, although he is only one exception. Among this black guerrilla family, he is just one white apprentice who was learning how to operate prison gang and how to orchestrate things of many members. And he had two other powerful friends who would help him to create this new prison gang organization. So in three started Deadman Inc., which specializing the murder for hire as a major business for other prison gangs and for other whatever they are. That's why the name is Deadman Inc. Very dangerous, and violence is what they sold, okay? And into more details, okay? Oh, by the way, this Deadman Inc. is centering around Baltimore, Maryland, okay? But now it is spreading across the state lines, not within one state now. Mr. Roark and Mr. Sweeney and Mr. Jordan are the three who established this new prison gang. It's amazing, to start out organization like a prison gang at such young age. It is said like this: each prison has a unit that controls the prison, and one unit has the general, one acting boss, like a number two, also business administrator, commanding officer, and the one in charge of all finances. It's like a company, Deadman Inc. is in friendly relationship with the black guerrilla family because they are some sort of teacher to Deadman Inc. And also, Deadman Inc. is in a good friendly relationship with MS-13, Mara Salvatrucha, MS-13, which even President Trump mentioned publicly as being dangerous street gang. But Murder Inc. is in good relationship with those two other organization. This I did not know, but today there are two large factions in Deadman Inc. The one centering around Mr. Perry, which is trying to go back to what they originally started out. They try to go back to their first image of Deadman Inc., whatever it means. And the other faction is a Sweeney faction, which push up stronger color of white supremacy philosophy. Between those two, the Deadman Inc. is now split into two. Like I said, although it started out as an agency which enforced murder and violence in exchange for money for the other organization, but now Deadman Inc. is also in charge of drug trafficking and drug sales, within the prison system. And now I would like to talk about Mr. Perry, whom I know. It was also about 10 years ago that I started to contact Mr. Perry, and I was not sure whether I could get a response from him or not, knowing he is known as a charisma of violence, and I told you only people that I couldn't get a response from is the one who is so high up in a certain prison gang organization, who is too shrewd and cunning to control each one of the people who contact them and use them as part of their business. They are blocked from outside contact. And also drug cartel, they are not officially blocked our contacts, but they don't usually write back because drug cartel is usually managed by blood related families, so they do not trust outsiders who do not share the same blood. And those terrorists, they are allowed to contact, but you contact them, you will have a problem going out and coming back in to the United States, which I did not know. But anyway, I was not sure because he is the man of Murder Inc., especially this organization. The main business was murder. But about a month after, there's this letter came, about 10 pages, from Mr. Perry. And he was a very, very smart, high IQ person. Although he was, kind of regretting the use of PCP, which he believes dropped his natural sharpness. And also he said he's good at impersonating Sylvester Stallone. He looks like one too in picture. And I asked, why did you set up a new organization? And he goes, what I have already told you. He was sure about 20 years coming. That's why he decided to prepare, by entering BGF, which was the most powerful at the time in the facility. Have you ever felt any danger within prison? And his answer is, I'm originally big guy, and I, pumped up iron pretty good. He is like a bodybuilder, originally big. So he told me one episode that I kind of recognized an old inmate was trying to eat this new fish clearly from outside. And Trying to eat means like, sodomize, use him as his sexual object or whatever. As might be common among the leaders of prison gangs, leaders hate the bullies, fake bullies. So what he told me about was he beat all the guys up really good, and he kind of lifted this old guy up and throw him over the of the tier on the fourth floor. So what I'm saying is, after beaten up, he was dropped from the fourth floor down to the first floor. And he goes like, did he die? And stuff like that. Mr. Perry is always positive, good character. But I also hear, not from him though, I kind of read an article that people were scared of, kind of passing him in prison because they know who he is. But he showed me different side of himself. And he continued, once I showed it clearly that we do not accept abusive act of newcomer, people will not do it anymore. And I thought, that's true. I go, you had two more good friends to set up this Deadman Inc., right? And he goes, yes. Sweeney was a real good guy whom I can trust the best, and still the best. Okay? I haven't seen him for almost 20 years now. When we get together and fight together against this, enemies, I was 100% sure we can win. He was somebody like that. Sweeney was not a big guy, but he know how to fight because he learned boxing when he was a kid. So he was the best partner. That's what Mr. Perry said. And I asked him, what's your plan from now? And he goes, I overheard that keeping me in Maryland. Remember, at this moment, he is at the Maryland, okay? Keeping me in Maryland prison system is not good, because my existence is going to make the organization bigger, because there are more and more youngsters keep coming in wanting to enter Deadman Inc., which is a powerful white prison gang, right? So I kind of heard they are going to transfer me to Florence, Colorado. Although, even at the moment, I knew some other person who was already in Florence. I try not to say that directly because I didn't want our correspondences to be stopped, by mentioning other people or other facilities directly. And he was saying, do you think I got to, fight again to establish my peace over at Florence? And I put it this way, this is the information I got by reading, but Florence may not be that bad place. Federal prison system has clearer regulations to protect human rights, so they cannot do things that are allowed at the state level. And I also heard that there may be individual shower at each cell so that you don't have to be taken out by guards standing on your both sides. And he goes, oh, that's great. I feel a little bit better to hear that. It was also a moment that I confirmed that fear happens anybody when the person does not know what is going to happen. Do you understand what I'm saying? Mr. Perry is the farthest person from fear. But when that strong person doesn't know what's coming, fear comes even to such a strong person. Unknown anxiety is the source of fear to anybody. This is a good lesson. If you know what's coming, however strong the enemy is, you can imagine the size and you can, prepare for that in advance, or you can imagine what might happen, right? But when you don't know what's coming, no way for you to be prepared for it, right? I think it was a couple of months after I received a letter, from Mr. Perry at Florence. And he goes like, you are right, Florence is much better than Maryland. But I'm a little bit afraid that I'm getting fat eating everything. So as an older person who experienced all those things, I gave him an advice that, once you stop eating carbohydrates only at night, that is going to decrease your body weight. And he goes, oh yeah, so I will try. And 1 month after, he wrote me back with the 3 new pictures of himself, enclosed in the same envelope. And it showed sharp reversed triangle body. Mr. Perry was in a picture. And I thought that carbohydrate thing is working. At this moment, he seems to be enjoying Florence supermax prison, because that's the central, prison in among the federal correctional system, and they have tons of educational courses that they can choose. And as I have said, Mr. Perry originally was very smart with high IQ, but he missed the chance of studying because he was more attracted to the nightlife at Baltimore. So it is like, at the time I think he was studying some kind of history, and he was re-lecturing it to me in a letter. It read something as if he is enjoying the school education which he missed when he was young. So his letter really seemed happy for the educational opportunities that Florence ADX provided for the inmates. And that's that. Mr. Perry is one positive, smart, and tough person. So it always makes me feel kind of a positive too. Positivity transfers to other people. Negativity transfers to other people too. That's the lesson today. And I hope I provided something, even if it is a little thing, that might be helpful to you in your own life. Okay, until next time, please have a wonderful time. Okay, bye bye now.